Kyle here from allmediareviews.blogspot.com. Today's Halloween, October 31st, 2022. Here to do another King's X video. In some ways it's sort of fitting in a way. I don't know. It would be, it's the 10th studio album from King's X. Black Like Sunday. I don't know if I don't think it's come out on vinyl. And might happen at some point for the completists. I'm somewhat of a completist, but there's a long or short, or I'll make it as short as long story shorter as possible. But so this album came out May 20th, 2003. And I was like alluding to the touring and stuff like that. I couldn't remember touring for Manic Moonlight. So obviously they toured for Manic Moonlight for about a year and change. And I remember then and this was on Metal Blade. I was wrong. I thought I read in here, and I'm not have sort of gone over this album. I've listened to it a couple times over the last few days, since last week. I thought they mentioned here that it was released independently, but this shows it was released. Well, yeah, it says Bropel Records, or BROPL. But it has distribution from Metal Blade. So I don't know how that works. It's sort of like Spock's Beard. I don't know if it was for Europe or not. Spock's Beard was on Metal Blade Records, and then they had their own label, Radiant. That must have been part of the agreement. And then they were on Inside Out Music at one point. I don't know if they were simultaneously releasing their albums on all three. I don't know, but it would say it was independently released, but CD-ROM, okay, CD-ROM extras includes lyrics, pictures, show, screensaver, and a video of the band from 1986. That's the other key. So the deal with Black Like Sunday was, it was a quote from Ty in a magazine, it might have been Metal Edge, I read this, or it may have been an interview online, written online, or like I said, there wasn't YouTube at that point. It might have been a podcast. It's probably an interview I read. But he says, this album is like the album that a lot of our fans have been bugging us to record and release for ages, for so many years. It's all these old songs that they had that they never officially recorded. Old songs before they were King's X, really. And based on the history, it was like right around the time they became known as King's X, right before they changed it from 86. And having listened to and I want to go back and review it again, having listened to the sneak preview album, there's only like 2 songs I think that I recognize, but I want to review it again. That were done for this. So that tells me that it was songs that didn't make the cut for sneak preview or hadn't been written yet for sneak preview. I think one of them is the last song, too, and then one of them, I don't know if that's it. The last song is Save Us, rather. I think it's 2. 2, and it might be called something else. I went over it, of course, when I first started this. There it is. There's the track list. I don't have it memorized. I haven't listened to it. I'm not sure which one it would... Oh, You're the Only One. That's the... Yeah, You're the Only One. Yeah. But, I'm not even certain... Like, the title track, the opening title track, which is the one song off this album... I should show it, actually... that they played live. Like, I have a memory, maybe a few other times, and I have the live album, which I'm going to go over. I don't know, live all over the place. Do I have it here? Maybe it's over there. Live album, this probably kind of goes. I'll maybe go over this for the next one. Okay, all right. So they do a bunch of songs on here. They do the title track from Black Like Sunday. They do Finish, they do Screamer, and they do Johnny. I think that's it then. It's 3 discs. One of them, it's 2 discs, but part of the last 8 through, and I'll go over this, but yeah. Yep, so interesting. And I've listened to this, but it's been a long time. I think it came out like the year after. But it's interesting. All right, I need to tell the story, the long story. Ah, there it goes, the little sticker that I was trying to keep. They put this calendar in here. Maybe their tour schedule that they knew had already confirmed when they made it. But it also includes like release dates, like Gretchen Goes to Nebraska, June 27th, 1989, which I found kind of neat. So when this came out that year, 2003, it was still kind of somewhat of a transition period for myself when I was doing my life. I wasn't doing the radio at that point. And I was still working at one company, the previous one I was at, but I kind of didn't know the writing was going to be on the wall for the fate of that company and working there and everything. So, yeah, see, here's December. So what I don't understand is where the months of January through April, they never released any albums then. They had no birthdays. Because they have their birthdays in here, but it's even like a live. But so okay, the deal was I don't know if I didn't buy it. No, I didn't buy it when it came out. I don't even know if I knew about it when it came out. Maybe. I mean, I love Manic Moonlight. You think, oh, the next album, but I read that and it threw me off a little bit. And then I saw some people that already heard it maybe the week it came out. That was when the albums came out on Tuesday, and it wasn't so immediate as it is now. And people would be like, yeah, this album is okay. I don't think these are people that love Manic Moonlight, but they're like, this album's just sort of there. And, so they got this album out of the system. They, appeased the fan base. And so I never bought it. I think I might have found digital version. And the truth of the matter is, I probably burned it. I listened to it once. I knew the title track, and that was really it. I knew one of the songs had the name Johnny in it. I was thinking maybe it's the Springsteen has an album called Johnny 99. I was thinking that's what it was called, Johnny 99. I think so, off like Nebraska. Nebraska is a dark, sort of depressing album, but the thing is, like, the sneak preview album, while it has its limitations, it sounds dated, but it still has some charm to it. Yeah, he has a song called Johnny 99, Bruce Springsteen, off Nebraska, but I kind of get why people just kind of forgot about this album, including myself. So you can see I purchased this at Cheapo back in 2005. So it was a couple years later. July 12th, 2005 was the date on when it came in. So it was probably summer or fall of 2005 I found this. And I think I listened to it like one more time. And, that was not that long before or after when Ogre Tones came out the following album, which I'm going to try to do tomorrow. And that was it. I mean, they played the title track, and I didn't listen to the title track that much. But this was like the black sheep of their catalog. No one talked about this album. No one cared about it. The band themselves rarely referenced it. I'm actually impressed to find out that there were, whatever it was, 4 songs. The last 4 songs on the first disc were actually on it. So I'm kind of guilty, and it just sat in my collection. And then the next V came out. Did I go back to this? No. I saw them on a bunch of tours. Never felt like I needed to go back to it. Never did. And I always just knew about it. Just a little bit like Fates Warning's Darkness in a Different Light. Although at least I listened to that a few times the year it came out. And so I had it and knew it was kind of, a forgettable album and just didn't bother with it. And so, all right, I'm thinking I'll do King's X series. I did a video on them a number of years ago, just one video. It's in my history. It'll be on the playlist when it's still on the playlist right now, I think, or will be. And I don't remember what I said about it. But, so really, the first time I've really fully given this album an assessment, some of my memories of it, I don't think I did, was the last week. And it's almost like a brand new album to me in some way. So I'm guilty as charged, as much of a long time, 27 years or 26 years in the making fan of King's X I am, and love them, seen them live whatever a dozen times, have all their albums, A lot of the solo and side projects too. This is the first time I've really listened to this album in full, and I definitely know why I mean, yes, I slept on it. I definitely still slept on it. It's not a god awful, most unlistenable album ever, but it's very spotty. I think I rated it 2.5 stars on Rate Your Music initially. I just said, well, what I remember with this album, 2.5 stars. The title track, the first track, is one of the best songs, if not the best track on here. I went through it and I'm on my Spotify. I can tell you what other cuts. There's a couple other ones. I think some of it is dated, even though that was kind of the whole point. Is these songs are old and of a sort of a slightly different style. There's a couple songs that are almost overtly punk on here. The last track is that Save Us, and I think it's two or no, Won't Turn Back also. But those aren't the highlights. I wanted to sort of, figure out, talk about the highlights. The highlights to me, besides the title track, let's see here. I don't want to, dismiss myself. Working Man, which I always thought that was something to do with Rush. I always thought of Rush. But Working Man, is definitely a highlight. It's a catchy tune. Very catchy, memorable track. Danger Zone, also the one before it. Then I'll say I like moments. I don't necessarily like the whole song. I like moments of Finished and Screamer. They have their moments. And then the other track is, which the version on, which is interesting. I'll talk about this if I include this in the next video. Version on here is only 8 minutes and 21 seconds of Johnny. In fact, they might have played Johnny at one of the shows I was at over the last decade and change. But the version on here is 11.5 minutes. 11 minutes and 36 seconds. Does it go on for a little too long? Probably. I want to make sure something here doesn't happen. Yeah, it probably does a little bit, but it flows pretty well. I definitely think that, live, it probably is just, it was a song that maybe they played live back then and it worked, and it just kind of, it sounds like it should be a song basically played live, but it's pretty good, and it has a little bit of a nice energy to it. The rest of this album is, it's just not my bag. You're the Only One. I got to listen to the sneak preview version to compare, and two, also Won't Turn Back. Down is a slow ballad. Bad Luck. I just had a receipt the other day that kind of fit the theme of that. It's Halloween today. Rockpile, not loving Rockpile. There's a few moments. I think even Finished and Screamer, while the whole songs aren't great, there's like the outros, the endings of those songs, there's a couple guitar riffs that are nice. So I've kind of concluded that they have it's about an EP's worth of good stuff on this record. And that's why it's sort of spotty. But I am still guilty of the fact that I should have listened to this album a long time ago, just to know it, And it does, again. There's 5 or 6 tracks on here that are good. I think Working Man, they should be playing that song live, even though again it's from a different era, even though they recorded this in 2002, 2003. Working Man especially, that's an earwormy track. Danger Zone's good too. I was thinking Danger Zone, Working Man, Dreams. Finished, I was thinking Finished What You Started from Van Halen. There's Fleetwood Mac, Rush, Dangerous, Kenny Loggins, all these other songs with a similar title or lyrics in them. But it's 14 tracks too, so but yeah, I guess that's my take. What's your take, King's X fans, on Black Like Sunday? Is it as bad, or does it deserve the sort of, ignoring, lack of mention, lack of, attention that it received, or is it, not so bad? Is it, you think, is it overlooked, or has it maybe, I don't know. There's something to be said about hearing the songs. Some of them do sound dated, but hearing them with modern production, there's both positive and negatives to that. The positives are, that kind of music, it was recorded today, would have more to it. It would sound more clean, more, amped up. It just would sound, better in a lot of ways with modern technology. The counter to that is, but it's written of that period of time. The band themselves were definitely sounded different. They were doing some different things. They were trying to find themselves. I don't know if it sounds exactly like everything on the sneak preview album, and that what I was pretty much getting, like the power pop-ish, power rock-ish sort of, Cheap Trick element. Not so much, but I mean, it as a whole, it's like, well, leave the dated stuff as it is, as from its period of time. Then you have these bands that are doing like retro sounding music, but yeah, I mean, Black Like Sunday. I'm glad I have it. I don't know how many times I'll revisit it, but I would certainly like the tracks I heard it on Spotify are worth definitely going back to. Like I said, I think Working Man and the title track, those two songs, if I do a songs list, I wouldn't be surprised if they would end up in there. So, anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe if you have not subscribed. I really appreciate that. Now that I've finished that, I'm going on to Ogre Tones tomorrow. I haven't been reading this book, the Greg Prato oral history book. But I can say I probably will start to resume reading and then finish this book. So I'm not that far. I only have like 100 some pages left. I'm on like 213 or whatever. But I have been thinking about what my plans are after this King's X series is finished. And I've got a bunch of different ways I can go. I don't know also how many days I'm going to be home from work come the coming months when we get snow and stuff. I may be staying home, so I may have a little more opportunity to make videos. But I think my likelihood of I'm going to try doing, that's what I was thinking about, trying to change the channel a little bit here. The editing stuff is a different story, but I'd like to try doing some of these list videos, that a lot of people, Scott from the Prog Corner specifically, has done. I'm thinking really going to call it art rock, progressive art rock. What I'm thinking is, because it's really hard for me to figure out, when you're looking up rankings. I don't like doing rankings, but they're a necessary evil. Albums versus artists, and it's like, well, certain artists have one album that I love. Where do they go on the ranking list and everything? So I've decided I would do two different series. It won't be tons, but it might. It might end up being a top 50 artists and top 50 albums. And then each one of those series will be like 10 of each. So it'll be 50 to 41, 40 to 31, 30 to 21. And that'll take a better part of a few weeks for each one. And then I'm also going to do an honorable mentions. That way, there's so many names I'm not going to be able to squeeze in there, so many albums. The honorable mention video, or it could be videos. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of getting out of hand if it's going to be multiple videos just for honorable mentions. But the honorable mention video for each one likely will probably be a fair number, but it won't be like sort of talking about each one like I'd probably like to. That's the whole point of doing like 25 or 50 in one video. The video goes on for 45 minutes to an hour. So I want to try doing that. I don't know when exactly, because they got the albums of the year stuff coming. We got a few records coming up. Dirt Poor Robins, Disillusion. Those are the two biggies. Kimber released a song, but those are coming up in a few weeks. Dead to Me, the final season comes out this week. Season 3. There's a bunch of stuff coming up. Also, I'm going to be getting the Kevin Gilbert releases, and that's the first of a series. I don't know how many, but should be getting those in the mail, probably even today, actually. So if I have a chance, maybe I can show them on camera tomorrow. But yeah, I don't know. I guess this progressive art rock series, and then I might actually dive into two different other series. Again, this is all hearsay, and I've had a lot of plans for this stuff and not done it, but it's all plans versus action. I'd like to do a metal, like progressive / sort of like those slideshows I did. I could do a progressive metal series, and then the mother of all video series, maybe on my channel, which will incorporate a lot of this stuff at once, is just an albums of the year, retro albums of the year series, which I meant to do forever. I'd like to write a book about it. I'd like to write a book about progressive art rock and from the 21st century. life is short. I could die in 5 years and never getting this done. Who knows? I mean, hope not. But I'm just saying, life is short, and I'm just trying to do what I can do in the most conceivable time, realistic fashion. So again, thank you for watching. Like I said, please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. We'll see you next time.